Once you have your reading textbook and your vocabulary notebook out, you do not need to worry about your reading textbook. You need to have your vocabulary notebook out and open to the Adapting to Survive vocabulary words. Your reading textbook does not need to be open yet. We do not need it until after we go over these words. Carla, please pull your shirt down. Okay. So underneath your last word from yesterday, which is lumbering, draw a squiggle, and then today's date, August 25th, 2020, and then to the left of the pink line, put number 8, because to the right of the pink line, you will write our next new vocabulary word, which is the word biome. Biome. B-I-O-M-E. Biome. Biome is a noun. So that means it is a person, place, thing, or idea. And it is a community of living things. Cullen, you will be in charge of the vocabulary cards for today. So make sure you are checking to make sure you have the vocabulary word biome, B-I-O-M-E, spelled correctly, the correct part of speech, spelled correctly, and the definition, a community of living things, all spelled correctly. Don't leave out words. Make sure you have all the words. Make sure they are all spelled right. So number 8 is biome, B-I-O-M-E. It is a noun, and it means a community of living things. Remember, if you need to use another page, make sure you're using the backs. Come on, fast. It doesn't have to be perfect. Number 9 is the word survival. Wait, yes. Survival. S-U-R-V-I-V-A-L. Survival is a noun. That means it's a thing. And it means the ability to live. Survival is spelled S-U-R-V-I-V-A-L. It is a noun, which means it's a person, place, thing, or idea, and it means the ability to live. Even if you are not doing the vocabulary cards, you need to make sure that you are spelling everything correctly. That includes the vocabulary word, especially the part of speech, and all of the words in the definition. Skip pages. Go ahead and be ready on the next page because you're not going to be able to fit another word. Number 10 is the word saguaro. Saguaro. S-A-G-U-A-R-O. Saguaro. It is another noun, and it is a type of cactus that is tall and has few branches. Oops. So saguaro, S-A-G-U-A-R-O, is a noun, and it is a type of cactus that is tall and has few branches. Make sure you have the vocabulary word spelled correctly, the part of speech spelled correctly, and all the words in the definition spelled correctly. Can I erase number 8? Okay. I'm going to erase number 8. And now we have number 11, which is the word nocturnal. Nocturnal. N-O-C-T-U-R-N-A-L. Nocturnal is an adjective. So it describes a noun. It describes a person, place, thing, or idea. Make sure you have adjective spelled right. There is a C. Don't forget that C. I see a lot of people writing adjective. That is not the word. It is adjective. Adjective. And it is something, usually an animal, stays awake at night and sleeps during the day. So nocturnal, N-O-C-T-U-R-N-A-L, is an adjective, and it means something stays awake at night and sleeps during the day. Can I erase number 9? Make sure you have the word nocturnal spelled correctly, the part of speech adjective spelled correctly, and all the words in the definition, something stays awake at night and sleeps during the day, spelled correctly. Okay, this is the last word. So Cullen, you'll have 5 words. You'll have number 8 through 12 to do a card. Do you want me to give you cards or do you want to use your own?
I can use mine.
So don't forget to bring 5 cards home.
They stay in my backpack.
Oh, okay. Well, that's perfect. And your flare. Yes, Ethan.
Can I get a new pencil?
Not right now. Is it broken or can you use it?
It's broken.
Where's your other 3 pencils? You're supposed to have 3. They should be in your pencil bag. They should be in your pencil bag, not your box. If they're not in your pencil bag, then you have some in your box that you can grab. Okay, number 12 is the word crevice. Crevice. There is no S in crevice. It is C-R-E-V-I-C-E. Crevice. Check your box. Crevice. C-R-E-V-I-C-E. This is why you need to get going in the morning so that you can switch out your pencils, because you're going to have to wait. Crevice is a noun. So it is a person, place, thing, or idea. And it is a narrow crack. So a crevice, C-R-E-V-I-C-E, is a noun. Make sure you have both of those things spelled correctly. And it is a narrow crack. Make sure you have all of those words spelled correctly. Once you are done writing the definition for number 12, you can close your vocabulary notebook and put it away. And then open your textbook to page 48. Page 48. So you should be on page 48 in your textbook. Let's look at the, so today, the other day, or yesterday, we talked about main idea and supporting details. Remember main idea? You can typically find in the first sentence of the paragraph, but sometimes you have to kind of combine sentences, or maybe it might be the second. Supporting details are sentences in that paragraph that tell you about the main idea. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Finding the main ideas of paragraphs and then writing down supporting details. So before we begin reading, let's go ahead and look at the bookmark on page 48. And tell us the genre, Victoria. Pull your mask down below your chin. Loud.
The informational information is a detailed.
Did you tell us what the genre was before you read that? What is the genre? Those greenish words, that's the genre. Look for the word genre. Remember, it's spelled with a G. And then underneath it, those green words, that's the name of the genre.
Information.
Does that say informational information? Please read the word. Informational. Informational nonfiction is the title, Zari, head up, is the genre of this story. Especially because, Zari, when you're like this, then you can't see your book. So keep your head up. Just like everybody at school, okay? And what is informational nonfiction, Victoria?
Is a detailed.
Loud, almost like you're yelling.
Is a detailed.
Read the whole word. Composition.
That sets out to explain something by presenting facts about it.
So, informational nonfiction. Remember, nonfiction means real. That means it's actually happening, it is facts, it is true. Fiction means it's not real, it's made up. Sometimes it can sound real, but it's not. Ethan, stop playing with that. So this is informational nonfiction. That means it is true, and it is telling us facts. It is giving us information. Good. What is the question that we are reading to find out, Victoria? Aaron, sit up.
What
Characteristics. 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 Put them together into one word. Character. Okay.
Characteristics allow desert animals to live in such a hot, dry place.
Good. Okay, so we are reading in order to find out what characteristics allow desert animals to live in such a hot, dry place. Because it's very hot and there's not much water. It is hard to survive in a place that is extremely hot with not much water. So what makes these desert animals able to do this? Victoria, go ahead and read the title, the author, and the illustrator. The illustrator.
A Walk in the Desert by Rebecca, let's say just L, by Rebecca L. Johnson, with illustration by
Try it. Try the word. That Y sounds like an I.
Phyllis.
Phyllis.
Phyllis. Saul.
Sure. I don't know, because that's somebody's name, and sometimes people's names, if I don't know them, I might, and they can't correct me, I might pronounce it wrong. Okay, go ahead and turn to page 50. Thank you, Victoria. And read Smith. Read loud and slow.
Sunbeams are flickering over the landscape as the sun rises. A kit fox heads for her den as another day in the desert begins.
Keep going.
Deserts are surrounded by other kinds of landscapes. Scientists call these different land zones biomes.
Biomes, remember? That's, oh, we don't have it written anymore. But that was, what was it? A community of living things.
All the plants and animals in a biome form a community. In that community, every living thing depends on other community members for its survival. A biome's climate, soil, plants, and animals are all connected this way.
Okay, stop right there. And let's look at that diagram at the top of page 50. What does this illustration or this diagram show us? Cullen?
The Bowman.
So we can hear.
Bowmas.
No. Read that word. Look at the letters.
Bowmas.
Is there an O after the B? What comes after the B? This was one of our vocabulary words. What comes right after the B? What letter?
I.
So, not bones, but
Bowmas.
by,
Biomas.
but that's just a plural. So by, this was our vocabulary word. What was our vocabulary word that was spelled like this?
Bimo.
Michaela, can you help her out? What was our vocabulary word that was spelled just like this without the S? Who can say, what was our vocabulary word that we added today that was spelled exactly like this minus the S? Smith also just read it. Zadie?
Biome.
Biome. So if we add an S to the end of biome, what is that word, Cullen?
Bimos.
Cullen. If we add an S to the end of biome, what is that word?
Biomes.
Biomes, not biomes, because biome has that silent E. Remember, this is another phonics clue. Carla, make sure you're paying attention, not playing with something. This is another phonics clue. Remember, an E at the end of a word means that the vowel is long. It says its name. So that E at the end of biome says we don't say or biom. It's not a short O, It's a long O. O. So an E at the end means that we're saying the long O, biome. But it's silent, so do we say the E at the end of a word? No. So when we add the S, we still don't say the E. We just add a S sound to the end. So Cullen, what does this map show us? Pull it all the way down below your chin because it's still in front of your mouth.
Bimos.
No, Cullen. What is the vocabulary word? Don't read it. What was the vocabulary word? Biome. Add a S sound to the end. It becomes
Biomes.
biomes. Okay. Remember, don't say the E at the end of a word. If there's an S at the end that's plural, you still don't say it. So biomes.
Of North America.
So we can see biomes, those communities of living things in North America. Let's start all the way in the north. What is that northernmost biome? You can raise your hand. What is it? Don't forget, the key tells you what each of those colors mean. So use that map key. What biome is all the way to the north? Zari?
Tundra.
The tundra. No, there's no N at the end. You guys are adding letter sounds where there are none. Tundra. Then right below that we have which biome? Aaron? The boreal forest. The boreal forest. Then, right below that, we have the light green. What biome does the light green show? Zadie? Pull it all the way down so it doesn't go over your mouth. Try it out. That's a tough word, but I want you to try it with confidence. Chunk it if you need to. That means cover up parts of the word.
Facetious.
Close. Deciduous. But say it with confidence next time. Even if you're not sure, I want you to say things with confidence. So what is that light green biome? Zari, somebody's answering the question, so your hand should be down so that you're listening to their answer.
Deciduous forest.
Deciduous forest. Not deciduous. I already said deciduous forest. Okay, what about the yellow? What biome is that, Michaela? Grassland. What about the orange? What biome is that? Smith?
Desert.
Desert. What about that really light tan along the southern coast of Alaska and the western coast of Canada? What is that really light tan biome? I'm looking for people who haven't answered questions yet. What is that really light tan biome? Carla?
Carpet.
What? Say it again, Carla. That really light tan that's along the southern coast of Alaska and the western coast of Canada.
Pepperin.
So temperate,
Chaparral.
temperate, no, not chaparral, that's orange. I'm asking, that's dark orange. I'm asking about the very light tan color along the southern coast of Alaska and the western coast of Canada. So find Alaska and that very light tan color. What is that biome, Carla? Temperate, can somebody help her out? Zadie?
Tropical rainforest.
Tropical? Tropical is like a light peach color. I'm looking at the light tan. Aaron?
Temperate rainforest.
Temperate rainforest. Ooh, did you ever think that there would be rainforest in Alaska? Well, there is, but it's not rainforest like what we think, because temperate means it's not hot. It's also not that cold. It's kind of in the middle. It's cool, but it still rains a lot. So that would be temperate rainforest. Hey, what about the dark orange along the coast of California? Victoria? The dark orange along the coast of California? Please pay attention to the questions that I'm asking. Chaparral or chaparral. It's probably chaparral. What about that light peach color? What biome does that show? That's on the southern tip of Florida, the eastern coast of Mexico, and then I think that's maybe Cuba. I can't remember. Carla?
Tropical rainforest.
Tropical rainforest. So that's what we think of when we think of rainforest. Now that dark peach color, that's mostly just in Mexico, along the western coast and the peninsula of Mexico. If you are not going to participate, your grade is going to show it. Michaela? Tropical scrub forest. Scrub means it's not as tall, but it is tropical, so it's warm and rainy. There's lots of trees, but they're not very tall. Okay, let's see. Smith, go ahead and finish out page 50.
Deserts have a very dry climate. They do get a little rain, but it doesn't come regularly. One storm might drench a desert with several inches of rain in just a few hours. It might not rain again for months, even years.
Good. So, does it ever rain in the desert? Does it ever rain in the desert? Victoria?
Barely.
Yes, but not often. When it does, though, it usually rains a lot. But then it may not rain again for months or even years. So I want to look at that last paragraph that Smith just read. So just that last little block of text at the bottom of page 50. What is the main idea of that paragraph? Just that last little bit. What is the main idea? Cullen, where's the first place you should look in a paragraph to figure out the main idea? What is the first thing you should look at?
The first sentence.
The first sentence. Does the first sentence work as the main idea of this paragraph?
Yes.
Yes. So what is the main idea of this last paragraph that Smith just read?
Deserts have a very dry climate.
Good. Desert, so you should be writing this on your chart. If you can't see it on the board, it is right there in the book. It's that first sentence of that very last paragraph or block of text. Deserts have a very dry climate. We can use that as the main idea because of the rest of the sentences in that paragraph explain how we know that deserts have a very dry climate. Cullen, does the first sentence of a paragraph always work as the main idea?
No.
Not always, because we read Living in Alaska yesterday and there was a paragraph where the first sentence didn't work. So then next step would be to look at the second paragraph, the second sentence. Sometimes the second sentence will work. Sometimes we have to put what the first sentence and what the second sentence are together to make a new sentence for the main idea. But in this case, it's pretty easy because we can use the first one. So, who can tell me one main idea from that paragraph, one supporting detail from that paragraph that tells us deserts have a very dry climate? Everybody can do this, so even at home, you should be doing this too. You should be looking at the paragraph to see if you can find the supporting details. Aaron, what's one?
The desert doesn't rain for days or even years.
So, our first supporting detail is deserts get very little rain. Sometimes you'll see that I do two T's like this. That is not an H, that is two T's. I will try not to do that, but when I'm writing fast, sometimes that happens. Now, deserts get very little rain. It doesn't say that exact sentence in the paragraph, but the second sentence, they do get a little rain, but it doesn't come regularly. This is I said that second sentence in my own words. So sometimes when you say main idea or supporting detail, you might have to use your own words. Either because the words from the text don't work as the main idea, or because you don't have enough room to write exactly what the textbook says. So sometimes you do have to write in your own words. The further we get in this year, the less you will be copying straight from the book, the more you will be using your own words. Okay, thank you, Aaron. What is another supporting detail in that paragraph? You may have to use your own words. Zari? Make sure you have an answer before you raise your hand. Zari, did you have an answer before you raised your hand?
Yes.
Okay, what's your answer? What is one more supporting detail?
It might not rain for months or years.
Okay. We already kind of said that with deserts get very little rain. So let's think of something else that it says. Michaela?
The rain doesn't come usually. It doesn't come regularly.
Zadie?
Every living thing depends on other soil, plants, and animals.
So does that have to do with this? About being very dry? Does that have anything to do with the climate being very dry? No. Is it in that last paragraph? That last block of text?
No.
So can it be a supporting detail for that last paragraph?
No.
No. There's two reasons that's not a supporting detail. First, it doesn't have to do with the very dry climate, and second, it's not in the paragraph. So there's one more thing. Smith?
One storm might drench a desert with several inches of rain for several hours.
Good. So they get very little rain, but a single storm might be very heavy. Okay, very good. Go ahead as soon as you're finished writing that. Turn the page. And Ethan, you are going to read next. Girls at home, if you can't hear Ethan, just read that first block of text. But wait to see if you can hear him read first. Ethan, pull it all the way below your chin and read loud, almost like you're yelling.
Desert plants provide many animals with food and water. Here comes the desert tortoise.
You got it. That's it.
Tortoise.
Tortoise.
It shuffles slowly along and stops often to rest. The tortoise stretches its long neck to nibble a log. Tortoises rarely drink. They get nearly all the water they need from the plants they eat.
So this is the first animal that we're talking about that we can see what adaptations it's made in order to live in the desert. So how are tortoises able to live in the very dry desert? Victoria?
They eat the plants that have water in it so it doesn't make them thirsty.
Good. So they don't really need to drink much water because they get all their water from the plants they eat. Very good. Let's look at this picture of the tortoise. And Ethan, while everybody's looking at the picture and the drawing of the tortoise, go ahead and read to us that caption.
A mother desert tortoise lays her eggs in sandy oil.
Not oil, what does that say?
Sandy soil. The sun warms the eggs until they hatch.
Very good. So, we know that birds have to sit on their eggs to keep them warm. Does this female desert tortoise have to sit on her eggs to keep them warm? Ethan?
Yes.
Does she?
No.
Look at what it says. What can she do? How do those eggs stay warm? She doesn't have to sit on them.
She has to lay her eggs in sandy soil.
And then what warms those eggs?
The soil.
Because what's warming the soil?
The sun.
The sun. So a desert tortoise doesn't have to sit on her eggs to hatch them. She just lays them in the soil, and then the sun warms the soil and the eggs. Very good. Ethan, go ahead and read the second paragraph, the second block of text. So those of you at home, if you cannot hear him, we are reading the second block of text. Pull it below your chin. The second block of text on page 52.
Captivity also provide homes for desert animals. Halfway down a neighbor.
Nearby, not neighbor. Go slow.
Halfway down a nearby saguaro.
Saguaro.
Its stem, a gyro,
It's Gila, but that's okay.
woodpecker pecks a hole in the juicy flesh. It is making a nest for its eggs. Woodpeckers have nests in this cactus for many years, so they've made many holes in it.
Okay? Everybody look at page 53. On the bottom, we see a picture of a saguaro. That is what a saguaro cactus looks like. Remember, our definition said they were very tall, and they didn't have that many branches. At the top, we see a picture of a woodpecker making holes in that cactus. That was the last sentence Ethan read, and it's actually going to be very important when we get to our next paragraph. All the way to the right, we see a drawing of a saguaro cactus. How old is that saguaro cactus? Carla?
10 years old.
10 years old. Oh, I'm sorry. That little one in the front. Do you see how in that drawing, I forgot to point this out before I asked, how there's two cactuses. We have the little one in the front, which Carla told us is 10 years old. How old is the tall one in the back? Smith?
60 years old.
60 years old. So they start very small, and then it takes a long time for them to grow, kind of like a tree. Sometimes plants don't seem to take as long, like smaller plants don't seem to take as long to grow as trees, but cactuses take a really long time, like trees. Ethan, tell us a little more about that saguaro cactus on page 53. Read out very loud.
Saguaro
Cacti.
cacti grow very slowly, but they may live for 200 years.
So cacti can live for 200 years. Not like a little flower, a little house plant, but more like a tree. Very good. Okay, read the last paragraph on page 52, that last block of text. Aaron, pull your mask right below your chin and read very loud, almost like you're yelling. Girls at home, if you cannot hear her read, wait to listen. If you can't hear her, just read the last paragraph of page 52.
Other creatures have moved into some of the old woodpecker holes. A pair of flycatchers live in
Nope. What's between one another? Are we saying one another? What comes between? What comes at the end of one?
One
What comes right after the word one?
another.
Can somebody help Aaron? What comes right after the word one? Ethan? Colin?
Period.
A period. So are we saying a pair of flycatchers lives in one another? When we come to a period, what does that mean? Aaron?
It's the end of a sentence.
It's the end of a sentence. So we have to pause. So try again. Start with a pair of flycatchers.
A pair of flycatchers lives in one. Another is a home to hive of honeybees. And peeking out of still another hole is an elf owl. It has white eyebrows and fierce yellow eyes.
Very good. Okay, so before we go to PE, what is the main idea of that paragraph? What is the main idea of that paragraph that Aaron just read? Carla?
Other creatures have moved into some of woodpecker holes.
Good. Other creatures have moved into the old woodpecker holes. That whole paragraph is about creatures who have moved into old woodpecker holes, so that means this would be the main idea. So we can use the first sentence in this paragraph as our main idea. Do the woodpeckers still live in those holes? Victoria? How can we tell by looking at that sentence? It says old woodpecker holes. That means they don't live there anymore. But just because they don't live there, do the holes go away? No. Okay, who can tell me one supporting detail that supports other creatures have moved into the old woodpecker holes? Zari, tell me one.
A pair of flycatchers live in one.
Good. We can use that exact sentence. A pair of flycatchers, which I think is a type of bird, live in one. Good, thank you, Zari. Make sure to mute yourself, and then tell me another supporting detail. Zadie?
Another is a home to a hive of honeybees.
So, bees live in another. Many times we have more than two supporting details. Do we have a third supporting detail in this paragraph? Victoria? Do we have a third supporting detail in this paragraph? What is it?
And peeking out
Loud.
an elf owl lives in the hole. You want me to read the sentence?
You can tell me in your own words. I like how you were trying that.
So elf owls peek out of the cactus's hole.
Okay, so we can say, good. I like how you were thinking. Victoria just made, and rather than reading the sentence, she put it in her own words, and I like that. So we can say, an elf owl lives in a third.
I don't have room.
Hmm?
I don't have room.
Just do your best. An elf owl lives in a third, but don't take up any other boxes because we'll need those boxes. Good. Now Now look at that very last sentence that Aaron read. It says, it has white eyebrows and fierce yellow eyes. Is that a supporting detail of this main idea? Is that the sentence, it has white eyebrows and fierce yellow eyes, is that a supporting detail of this main idea? Cullen?
No.
No. Why? What is that sentence about?
It's about a elf.
An elf owl. Does this main idea have anything to do with elf owls, Cullen?
No.
No. So, sometimes we have sentences that aren't supporting details. They just make it more interesting. Okay. We'll go ahead and stop for PE. So put your paper in your book and then close your book and put it away.